Good morning, students. We are today going to discuss a topic in biology which is deviation from Mendelism. It is a topic of genetics, and here, before going into the deviation from Mendelism, we need to have a review of what Mendelism is. Now, Mendelism you have already studied, but I will give you a brief of what you have studied in the Mendelism class. Now, Mendelism is the inheritance of characters. We know that characters are inherited by what are known as genes or factors. Now, Mendel designated genes as letters, capital letter and small letter. The capital letter indicates dominant gene and small letter indicates recessive gene. Dominant gene and recessive gene, and we will discuss about the two basic laws of Mendel. Now, when a dominant gene, for example tall, in pea plant Pisum sativum, when a tall plant which has a genotype capital T, genotype means the internal genetic complement. It has capital T, and dwarf plant, that is short plant, it has small t and small t. Now, in this case, the capital T is dominant gene and the small t is the recessive gene. Dominant gene and recessive gene. And here one more thing you are observing, and that is the two T's, capital T and capital T, are in pair, because as per Mendel, factors or genes occur in pair. Now, while formation of gametes, one of the T comes to the offspring in the gamete, capital T, and here what comes to the offspring is small t. Two capital T, small t, and here the any combination that comes in results in capital T, small t only, and this is F1 or first filial generation. This is F1 or first filial generation. Now, here the expression is tall. Now, we have seen that capital is for tall and capital T is for tall and small t is for dwarf. But when capital T and small t are together, we find that the plant shows tall character. That means tall is dominant over dwarf, or capital T is the dominant gene which is dominant over the small t which is recessive gene. So, this is the equation here. Now, when these plants go further into F2 generation, then we find that the plant that has capital T, small t gives rise to two gametes, capital T and small t. This is male one side and capital T, small t female. Now a combination of these two gives rise to capital T, capital T, capital T, small t, capital T, small t, and small t, small t. This is tall because there are two dominant genes, and this is tall because there are two recessive dominant genes. This one tall and one recessive gene. This is tall again because this has a dominant gene and a recessive gene, and this is dwarf because it has only recessive gene. This is the equation here. Now we find that the ratio is 1, 2, 3. 3 is to 1. 3 tall, 1 dwarf. 3 tall, 1 dwarf. That is the equation here. Now when we look at the genotype, genotype means what is there in the inside. Now the genotype is, one genotype is capital T, capital T, the other genotype is capital T, small t, and the third genotype is small t, small t. Now this will result in a ratio of 1:2:1. That is 1 tall, pure tall, 1 hybrid, 2 hybrid talls, and 1 dwarf. 1 pure tall with capital T, 2 hybrid tall with capital T, small t, and 1 dwarf with small t, small t. So according to Mendel, the phenotypic ratio is 3:1 and the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1, and this is about the monohybrid cross. Now in case of dihybrid cross, we find a different thing. But before going to dihybrid cross, it may or may not be essential here. Now to understand initial cases of the Mendelian deviations, we can proceed with this. Now let me review what I have discussed already. Now what I have discussed is that Mendel said that characters are determined by genes or factors. Now these genes or factors are in pairs, and the genes or factors are expressed in terms of capital letters or small letters. There are two kinds of factors or genes, dominant and recessive. The dominant ones are expressed by capital letter and the recessive ones are expressed by small letter. Now in monohybrid cross, we find one, let us take one character, that is height. The height of the plant may be tall or dwarf. If we cross a tall plant with a dwarf plant or a pure tall plant with a pure dwarf plant, we get tall plants. Now here we find that the tall and dwarf are mixed together in F1 generation. Then when the F1 generation goes to F2 generation, we find that capital T and small t, capital T and small t come together, and we find a phenotypic ratio of 3:1, 1, 2, 3 tall and 1 is dwarf, and the genotypic ratio is 1 pure tall, 2 hybrid tall, and 1 pure dwarf. Now here, now we will discuss about the deviation. This is the background, basic background I have given you to understand what is the Mendelian monohybrid cross. Now, just now we have discussed that the dominant character suppresses the effect of the recessive character. So, there is a dominant gene and a recessive gene, and sometimes what happens, the dominant gene cannot completely suppress the effect of the recessive gene. Let us study it with an example. Now, this condition is called incomplete dominance. First deviation is incomplete dominance. Incomplete dominance, as the name indicates, that the dominance is not complete. Now, here we find that in tall and dwarf, the tall is expressed and dwarf is not expressed when they are together. Now, that means it is dominance is complete. Now, in other cases, for example, in Mirabilis jalapa, that is 4 o'clock plant, in Mirabilis jalapa or 4 o'clock plant, we find that when red flowered plants are crossed with white flowered plants, red is, let us say, capital R, it is pure, both dominant, and white is small r, it is pure, white, both recessive, and here the combination should give us capital R, small r. Now, normally we expect this, according to the principle of dominance, that this should be red, but this becomes pink. This is pink, not red. That means it is giving a color which is in between red and white, and that is pink. This is because of incomplete dominance. That means the red gene is not able to completely suppress the effect of the white gene. Now, we are getting a pink color here. Now, when the pink goes for F2 generation, this is the one, you will get capital R, capital R, small r, capital R, small r, and small r, small r. Now, here we look that there are 4 squares. Now, this will be red because it is pure red with 2 dominant genes. This, as per dominance, should be red, but because of incomplete dominance, this is pink, and this should be also pink basing on this, and this is white. So, the phenotypic ratio or the ratio that is expressed is 1 red, 2 pink, 1 white. So, 1:2:1. We have seen that in monohybrid cross the ratio is 3:1 phenotypically, but here in monohybrid cross the ratio is 1:2:1, which is phenotypically. Now, let us verify what is the genotypic ratio. phenotypic ratio. And what is the genotypic ratio? The genotypic ratio is again capital R 1, capital R small r 2, 1, 2 and small r 1. So, here the ratio is, genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. Now, you can mark here that the phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio are both same. That is the expression of incomplete dominance. So, let me sum up again the incomplete dominance. First point in incomplete dominance is a deviation from Mendelism, number 1. Number 2, in incomplete dominance, the dominant gene is not able to suppress the effect of the recessive gene like as it is expected in Mendel's cross of inheritance, monohybrid cross. Now, what happens here is the red color is not expressed in the F1 generation. Here we get pink color. Now, the pink is the result of the incomplete dominance of red color on the pink. This is because red is not able to completely suppress the effect of white. So, we are getting a pink color. Now, when the pink plant in F1 generation produces gametes and there is a cross here, we find that there is a ratio, the phenotypic ratio of 1:2:1. That is 1 red, 2 pink, 1 white. That is phenotypic ratio. And the genotypic ratio is same as the phenotypic ratio, that is 1:2:1. Now, the importance of this factor or this deviation is both the phenotypic and genotypic ratios are same here. Now, we have discussed about the first deviation, that is incomplete dominance. Now, the second deviation from Mendelism is codominance. Number 2 is codominance. Codominance is, as the name indicates, that both of them dominate. Co means together. Together they dominate. Now, you know that in human beings, the blood groups are A, B, AB and O. And here I am not discussing about whether it is positive or negative. I am discussing about basic blood group, that is AB and O. Now, these 4 combinations we find in general. Though there are minor variations in them, we are not concerned about it. The basic blood groups are these 4. Now, after remembering, I need not tell you to remember this because you all know. Now, let us believe that this blood group is determined by a dominant gene, that is A, and the other dominant gene is B. Now, if A is there, it is blood group A. The gene, let us make IA. I will tell you what is I in a minute. Now B, let us make it IB. Now before going further, let me tell you that I stands for immunoglobulin. Now basing on that, A and B. If capital I A is there, then it is immunoglobulin A and blood group A. And if capital IB is there, then it is immunoglobulin B and the blood group is B. This is the basic thing. Now, in this case, let us see a cross between these two, and as both are dominant genes, IA and IB, this is A and this is B, there must be a recessive gene, and the recessive gene is small I. This is the same recessive gene for both the dominant genes. So, as per Mendel's laws, capital IA together, we expect blood group is A, and capital B, the blood group is B. But when these two are together, we get IA from one parent and IB from the other parent. So, we get a hybrid which is IA IB. Now, it is a case of codominance, I told you. So, here we find that IA IB are together. So, the blood group here is AB. So, if one dominant gene is there A, the blood group is A. If the other dominant gene is there B, the blood group is B. If both the dominant genes are there, then the blood group is AB. And if the recessive gene is there, I will give you different combinations. Capital IA, small I. Capital IB, small I. Small I, small I. Now, capital IA, small I will give us blood group A. Capital IB, small I will give us blood group B. And small I will give us blood group O. And if by chance capital IA and capital IB come together, as it is the case here, the blood group is AB. So, here there is a codominance. What is codominance? Two dominant genes are there. One is, to simplify, I am not calling it IA, IB, I will call it A and B. One dominant gene is there A, which is able to dominate the small one, and other dominant gene is B, it is able to dominate the small but or recessive, and when both the dominant gene are there, both are expressed. So, the blood group is AB. Now, here I will give you my own example. My blood group is AB positive, that's a different issue, AB positive. So I am having capital A gene and capital B gene. I am having AB blood group. My wife has O blood group, that is small I, she is having O blood group. Now, one of my son has a blood group of A, and the other son has blood group B. That means what has happened? One son got the A gene from me and the recessive gene from my wife, and the other son got B gene from me and the recessive one from his mother. So, in our family, all the 4 blood groups are there. I am AB positive, my wife is O positive, my elder son is B positive, and my younger son is A positive. So, that is because of codominance. So, we have discussed about the codominance. Now, I will sum up again. Codominance is the condition where 2 dominant genes which are able to suppress the effect of recessive genes are expressing themselves when they are together. That is codominance. A is expressing itself, B is expressing itself. When both are together, they also express together. That is codominance. Mendelian deviation. That is multiple alleles. Multiple alleles. Now, here I need to give a reminder to you that this multiple alleles means, as the name indicates, it is a number of alleles. So, let us recall from what you have read from Mendelism, what is an allele. Now, the different forms of a gene are called alleles. If we go back to deviation examples, now in blood group, we find the 2 alleles, IA and IB, 2 alleles. Now, on a chromosome, they occupy different locations. Now, multiple alleles is many alleles are responsible for one character. Now, the best example and convenient for you to remember that kind of example under multiple alleles is the skin color in man. Now, you know that Negroes have the dark color and European generation has white color. Let us simply assume that there are 3 genes which determine skin color. 3 genes, let us name them A, B and C. So, what it becomes? A, B and C. A has a recessive gene small a, B has a recessive gene small b, and C has a recessive gene small c. So, how many are there? 3 alleles. It is for simplification. There may be more, but we are taking an example of 3 alleles. Now, this is the dark color or black, and this is fair. I am sorry. This is dark, and this is dark, and this is fair, this is fair, this is fair. That is, the three dominant genes A, B and C are responsible for dark color, and the three recessive genes, that is small a, small b, small c, are responsible for fair color or white color. Now let us look into the cross. Let us cross A, B, C. As per the number of factors, this is a trihybrid cross. Three genes, trihybrid. Now here this will be dark, very dark, and this is white, because these are all white genes, these are all dark genes. So dark, white, two kinds. Now when we get to the gametes, this will give us a gamete where all gametes will contain capital A, capital B and capital C. Now this will give gametes which has small a, small b and small c. Now when they come to together, you will find capital A, small a, capital B, small b and capital C, small c. Now here we find that there is 50% dominant genes and there are 50% recessive genes. So here the skin color will be medium. Now this will give us how many gametes? Let us see. A, B, C, A, B, C, then A, B, C, then A, B, C, A, B, C, total there should be 8. A, B, C is 1, then A, B, C, capital A, capital B, small c, then capital A, small b, small c, that we have missed. Now there are 8. If we find a Punnett square or checkerboard, 8 this side and 8 this side, 8 this side and 8 this side, you will get 64 squares. Total 64 squares. Now out of these 64 squares, now we will find that what are the possibilities. Now the possibility is that there is a condition where these two come together, ABC like this. You go on writing, you will get 8 here, 8 here. If we combine them, you will find a checkerboard where there are 64 squares. Now, if we combine them, we will find different colors. Now, what are the possibilities? Let us examine. You can find the checkerboard from the textbook or from anywhere. Now, or I will show you the checkerboard in the next class. It will take a lot of time to draw it. Capital A, capital A, capital B, like this. This is one genotype. Then capital A, small a, capital B, capital B, capital C, capital C. Capital A, capital B, capital C, small c. Then capital A, capital B, small c, small c, and so on. Now, there are many combinations, and the final one is small a, small b, small c, small c. How many of this? Only one. Only one of this. And how many of this? Only one. Out of the 64 squares that we get, you find the first one is this one and the last one is this one. The last one is the fairest and the first one is the darkest. So, this is the least number. That is why we don't find total fair persons in the world and total dark persons in the world, and all we get is a intermediary thing. Now, what is the ratio here? Now, the ratio depends on the number. Here I can show you what are the shades that you are going to get. Now, 1:2, 2:1, 2:4:2, 4:8:4, 2:4:2, 1:2:1. Now, this is the genotypic ratio. If we take 3 gene pairs, but if we take more, then the ratio will prolong. Now, actually it is more. For convenience, we have taken only 3 genes. Now, here we find that the ratio is so long. Now, here we will get different combinations of colors. Now, the most intermediate color is this. Now, you may find it very jumbling. It is very easy to calculate this. It is like this. 1:1 is the basic monohybrid ratio that we have already discussed. 1 to 1, 1 to 1, and 1 to 1. So this is the monohybrid ratio for 1, 1, 1, 3 categories. I am sorry, this will be 2, 4, 2 because this is 2. Then again 1 to 1, 2, 4, 2, 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 2, 4, 2, 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 2, 4, 2, 1 to 1. Now here I will show you an interesting thing, how this is there, but this is accurate and this is wrong. And what is the actual ratio? I am sorry, there is a mistake here. 2, 4, 2, 1, 4, 8, 4, 2, 4, 2, 1 to 1, 2, 4, 2, 1 to 1. Now, this is the genotypic ratio. What is the difference between this and this? Now, how to remember it? I have given you this type and this type. You will not commit anything wrong if you follow this method, which is called forked line method. Now, in Mendel's cross, we have seen that the monohybrid ratio genotypic is 1 to 1. How to get the trihybrid ratio? You forget about this for now. Trihybrid ratio is 1 to 1 multiplied with 1 to 1, then 2, 2, 4, 2, and this is 1 to 1, like this. If you multiply, you will get a large number of things. Now, all these colors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Like that, you get a large number of colors. And all these will give us different shades of different multiple genes. And we will find that multiple genes express different skin colors of man. Now, let me sum up the multiple inheritance, multiple genes inheritance. Multiple genes is when a large number of genes express a single character, it is called multigenic inheritance. Now, here the number of genes taken as an example is 3. Now, 3 genes if we take, we get different combinations of these 3 genes. That means recessive genes 3, dominant genes 3. We get different combinations, and these combinations give us different ratios. Now, these ratios give us different shades of skin color in man. So, skin color in man is the best example that we can give of multiple genes. Another simple example of multiple genes that you can use is also the blood group. How many genes are there? A, capital A and capital B, 2 genes, and small I. So 3 genes, we get 4 phenotypes. What are the phenotypes? A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group, and O blood group. If you cannot remember skin color, of course skin color is very easy to remember. If you cannot, you need not draw the entire checkerboard, but you simply remember and a number of combinations come that ranges from the fairest to the darkest because of the dominant and the recessive genes. In the next section, we will consider the pleiotropic effect of genes and whatever is left out. Pleiotropic effect of genes and other one more character is there that we will discuss. So, we have today discussed the incomplete dominance, codominance and multiple alleles. And the example of incomplete dominance is Mirabilis jalapa, where we have red and white, hybrid is pink, and we get red, white and red, pink and white in the ratio 1:2:1, which is similar to the monohybrid genotypic ratio. Coming to the second, that is codominance, here we get blood group as an example, where capital A gives A blood group, capital B gives B blood group, and when A and B are together we get AB blood group, and when either capital A or capital B are absent and only small a or small I is there, it is O blood group. And final is the multiple genes, where we have taken of 3 genes, capital A, capital B and capital C, where we get a large number of combinations, and that will give us a very good variety of skin colors in man. Thank you very much. We will meet again.